you know, DSA stands for Direct School Admission. And basically, we feel that through this parent outreach, we are able to give you a better idea of what direct school admission is all about. And we are very privileged tonight to have two special guests to join us. One is Dwiti Bhatt, who is currently in SOTA, and she managed to, I think, Dwiti, you're in Sec 2 already? Are you in
Yeah.
Sec 2 or year? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So she has kindly agreed to come and share her experience as a successful DSA candidate. We are also very happy that our Madam Haja is also here to talk about her son's experience being a successful DSA candidate. So without further ado, I will do my short explanation before I hand the time over to the two of them. So basically, what we really want to be able to do, my portion is really about DSA itself, but it's also to know what it's like once you enter a secondary school via your talent and abilities and the kind of commitment that might be expected of them. And also what we want to share with you would be some of the things that as a school over the years we have done to prepare your children for the DSA interviews and so forth. Okay, so what we need to understand is that when a child takes part in DSA Sec and is accepted, all right, because this child has a particular ability or talent that the school is looking at, in accepting that particular offer, if your child is offered, you are not allowed to choose other schools. So this is something that has been established. So for example, if let's say you get into a school because of DSA, when you get your results, PSLE results, and the PSLE results confirm that you are able to enter the school of choice, your DSA school, you cannot choose other schools. So parents, this is actually a very big commitment, which you therefore need to have a very good conversation with your child about, okay? But rest assured that if your child is entering a school via DSA, the opportunities to hone his or her talents in the area that they have been selected for will be there, okay? But really, it is about appropriateness also. As you know, in our current educational climate, we are interested for our children to be able to rise, to soar, because they have special interests, because they are keen to explore how they can expand their abilities via their interests and their talents as well. So these are the various areas that our children can apply for. Sports and games via CCA. Some of the visual, literary, and performing arts is also through CCA or in the curriculum itself. Debate and public speaking would be opportunities that schools will avail their better orators and so forth, usually as a form of enrichment. Science, math, and in some schools, even engineering, it is usually through the curriculum, but there are also opportunities through E2K. Languages and humanities, although primary schools do not offer humanities, maybe the child has a flair for history and social studies and so forth, but it is usually more evident in their language proficiency. So this is also curriculum. Uniform groups will be things like Scouts, Brownies, Boys Brigade, Girls Brigade, and so forth. And leadership can be manifested either through the CCAs or as through opportunities like student council. Dwiti was actually a student councillor, right? So basically, that is also a way in which some of our children have gotten into schools of choice through leadership. Okay, so there is a window period that's coming up. So actually our presentation tonight is quite timely. It starts on the 7th of May and ends on the 3rd of June. And you have to abide by the deadline. That's why we're having this talk for you, so that once the website is up, you can really have a look at this, the options, have a good discussion with your child so that you can make a good decision. And basically, when it comes to the DSA selection process, different schools will have different options, which I will elaborate a little bit more later on. And what will happen is that by the 4th of September, students will receive their outcomes. Again, I'll elaborate a little bit more later. But what is important to remember is that any child can opt for a maximum of 3 school choices. There is a possibility of opting for 2 school choices and still have 3 options. If let's say you're opting for a school where you are interested in maybe leadership and sports, that's also possible. So as opposed to the past where parents could actually even opt for as many as 6 or 7, the 3 choices mean that you spend less time shopping, so to speak, but you have to be very clear that these are the choices that your child will be happy to pursue in secondary school. So parents, I've said this before at primary 6 briefings and so forth, it is your child going to the secondary school. So your child must be happy. Okay. So by selection process, I just wanted to elaborate in quite a few instances, whether it is there's an aptitude test or a trial, there would be some kind of interview because they would love to hear your child speak, hear his point or her point of view. But the variations can be aptitude tests. For some, I know, I think 2 years ago, our children who went to School of Science and Technology, they had to sit for math and science tests as a first gauge before they were invited if they were shortlisted for an interview. Trial or audition can take place because it's more of sports related kind of events or arts events where they want to see your child demonstrate the skills. And in some cases, we have also heard that our children may even be given for dance a piece of music and then they have to improvise just to see maybe how well they coordinate and so forth. By group interview, we have heard that some of our student leaders have gone for such an interview, which means maybe they sit a group of 5 children together, 5 students together, and maybe ask them questions or pose them problems, and the children are supposed to be able to share their point of view or share their experience. In some cases, a portfolio may be requested. We notice that the portfolios tend to be requested for the performing arts, okay, or even art itself. So that's why basically we have been encouraging our children who are interested in art to keep a portfolio if that is their area of choice, interest, and DSA opportunity. So this is what we have in terms of selection phase. So what happens is that okay, it may be after PSLE or it may be by 4th September. We will confirm this and let you know. There may be a few outcomes from the interview. One is they are accepted, okay? And if they are accepted, then basically they have to confirm whether they are accepting, because once they are accepted, it actually means you've locked in your your secondary school option. Okay, so this is actually a real privilege. That means that particular secondary school is giving your child a place on trust in a way, right? And therefore, that is why you cannot, if you have accepted, change the school that your child will be going to. Some are marginally accepted. Okay, that means they're on the wait list. The reasons for being marginally accepted are not shared with primary school. So basically, sometimes it is also dependent on the PSLE results. The child might score, I'm not sure how, some kind of point range or whatever, and maybe he or she will be able to enter the school. The third option is, of course, what we know children do not want to have, which is to be rejected. So again, reasons not given to primary school, but what that means is that you can still enter the school, but now it's on merit in terms of your PSLE results. And if you enter that school on merit, it doesn't mean that, oh, I actually tried for DSA in football in that school. Now that I've entered on merit, am I supposed to honor their interest in football? Only if you continue to want to do football. Then you're no different from a child who did not take part in DSA. That's for those who are rejected. And we have to be realistic parents. Sometimes some of our children will not be accepted by the secondary school. There can be quite a number of children vying for positions in various schools. So this is something we need them to understand. So after they get their PSLE results, they have made their choices around just before Christmas. They will be informed of the secondary school that they've been posted to. So this is what happens from the PSLE release of PSLE results until the end of the year. So we have spoken to your children, and we have actually encouraged them to go into the website. There is this what do you call it? This link called School Finder, and from the School Finder, they can type in the name of the secondary school of choice and look through what the school website has to offer, because all secondary schools would definitely not only highlight, let's say, the DSA area, they will also highlight the special programs. And nowadays, secondary schools are very vibrant, very dynamic, and all kinds of programs may be offered for their students. So it's good to be able to look at that. Then after you have done the research, think of only 3 options, because that's the maximum. Okay. And basically commit to those 3 options in terms of how you want to prepare for the interview. Then there may be a need for some of our children, and this one we really cannot confirm as in this secondary school requires this or whatever. They most probably will be informed. So why not take the opportunity to look through all your achievements by way of certificates, medals, and so forth, have them ready if there is a need. Okay. And then finally, ensure that the DSA application is filled in time. Okay. So parents, you can look at it this way. No harm if your child has a known talent for applying, because if you don't apply, then nothing happens. Okay, but if you apply, maybe you're pleasantly surprised. You like the fact that a particular school is willing to offer you a place. So we hope that parents can be open to this. We have had instances in the past where children have missed the window. It's very, very sad. Okay. And if they miss the window, it's not going to open again. All right. So that's why I believe you are interested in exercising this option. We hope that your children do have some achievements that they can actually talk about, share, and therefore take part in DSA. Okay. The school expectation here is both primary school and secondary school. Okay. So I know that PSLE is coming. Some of you are thinking, maybe we shouldn't continue with CCA. We would like your children to continue with CCA as a means of exploring their other talents, and actually also to relax, okay? Because I know how stressed out some of them may be, but character still comes first, parents, all right? Because ultimately, we have always been stressing this, that if a child has character flaws that are really a bit that need to be addressed seriously, then we need to look at this. And similarly, in secondary school, the same kind of expectations are there, especially if you have been chosen, let's say, to be on the basketball team. The commitments will be spelled out for them very, very clearly. And after that, they have to be able to meet the commitments, because that is how they got into that school of choice. Okay. So Where this is concerned, we have highlighted the first one in terms of preparation. Interview dates will vary from school to school. And I would really appreciate, I think I'll mention this later on also, I really appreciate if your child were to let us know about the interview dates. Why? Because the period of uh, selection can start in June and actually take the whole of term 3. But in term 3, we also have our prelims. The only dates they will definitely not have anything on will be the PSLE oral dates. But every school may have a different schedule for prelims. So we need to know because frankly, in some instances, uh, the actually what we would need for you is if your child has a prelim date that we cannot uh, uh, do anything about, okay, your child needs to let the secondary school know, and perhaps they will be able to reschedule the interview. So we need to know that because sometimes in the past, our children have kept quiet. Maybe they are worried uh, or they're anxious and they forgot to tell us. And then suddenly they don't appear for prelim. And prelim is very important, parents. Okay. So that is not good. So do let us know. In terms of preparation, we also will share with you some dates and some areas, some domains that we will be preparing your children for. And we are also willing to do one-to-one consultation should your child need it. Okay. And the practice can, as I mentioned before, be with your teacher by way of consultation or with you, whichever would make more sense for your child. So just to let you know, we've already told or shared with all the students about DSA. Tonight, we're doing the sharing for you. And during the June holidays, we do have our children coming back in the first week of June uh, this year. A special arrangement in a way because we have our 100th anniversary gala dinner coming up very shortly. So we have flipped. Usually we do our prep in week 4. Now we're doing it in week 1. So the two dates are 3rd June and 4th June. We have academics and sports on the first date and leadership and arts on the second date. 12:30 and to 1:30 is the period after they have finished their remedial. So there's no clash in terms of activities. We do urge Shuchanites who are listening to this presentation to be present for these talks so that we can give you some pointers, share with you what we think will be asked of you should you attend a particular interview. Okay. So these are just reminders about checking out the DSA website for more information. Currently, it may not be quite up yet. It will be up very soon with all the updated information. Also, keep tab of your child's DSA interviews. Do understand that for some secondary schools, the demand is very, very high. So should your child miss the interview, your child may not have a chance to try for that school again, right? And sometimes, in some instances, there may be an aptitude test on one day, and then 1 week later comes the interview. Whereas for some, it's one shot, okay? Maybe you do your audition, the interview, and that's it. So different schools have different expectations, and frankly, we are dependent on you to keep us updated. So that's my short presentation. I hope this has been useful. We will now hear from our two guest speakers. And after that, there'll be a Q&A session. So without further ado, can we warmly welcome Dwiti, who is now in SOTA, to do her sharing of her experience being a successful DSA candidate. Thank you, Dwiti.
Hello, can you see my screen? Hello, Suchinites and parents. I am Duty, a former Suchanite who graduated in 2023. Now, I am a Year 2 music student studying at School of the Arts. Today, I will be sharing more about my DSA journey through music. Today, I will be talking about why I chose to go through DSA, what my considerations were when applying for DSA, how I prepared for the selection process, and what the commitments were after joining SOTA. I chose to go through DSA to go beyond academics and PSLE scores, as well as to pursue my interests in other subjects. I was always a person who had an interest in subjects out of school, mainly music. So, by joining SOTA, I could pursue my interest in music and other art forms. Thirdly, I would be able to access elite programs for the art form that I applied for, and I can also access elite programs for the subjects offered. SOTA offers the International Baccalaureate Program, also known as the IB. The IB program offers a more holistic approach to learning, with more projects compared to a school that offers the IP or O-level program. Lastly, by applying to SOTA, I could learn more about other people's art forms through experience and interacting with them. Therefore, I was certain that SOTA suited my passions. Some considerations that I had when applying to SOTA were the long hours. School days were very long, starting from 7:45 in the morning to about 5:15 in the evening. Moreover, with the different classes, which are like CCAs, students may even end school at about 7:30 in the evening. I also thought about the location of the school. SOTA is located in the city next to Dhoby Ghaut and Bencoolen MRT stations. Therefore, it was convenient for me to get there. Thirdly, I considered the commitment levels at SOTA. I would have to commit to my art form for about 6 years, and I pondered over whether I could handle that. Lastly, there is a lot of independent learning at SOTA. That means that there are not many tuitions for students taking the IB program, and they have to study on their own by either asking teachers or looking at past year papers in the library. These were my considerations when joining SOTA. Each art form has a different way to prepare for the DSA selection process, SOTA. For me, I had to prepare a portfolio and a write-up for my pieces. Then I had to send it over to a SOTA faculty member to be judged. After being selected, I went for interviews and had to perform in front of the music faculty there. It was a really fun experience and the atmosphere was really relaxed. For the interviews, I did not prepare anything in advance because I knew that they wanted genuine answers rather than prepared ones. So I answered the questions truthfully, and that's what's brought me here. There are many commitments after the DSA journey in SOTA. Like I mentioned before, a commitment was to be willing to stay back until 7:30 p.m. for your art form. Since I am a music student, I have to stay back until 7:30 in the evening once a week for my chamber music ensemble. Another commitment is to stay in your art form for 4 years or more, even if you lose interest in your art form. The last commitment is that one should expect to perform in front of large audiences and be comfortable having their work displayed in public spaces. So over here, This was a performance that I did during an open classroom session last year. This video was taken by parents, and I performed Edelweiss from The Sound of Music. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank
If
you,
not,
Dwiki. Maybe we wait for the second presentation and then we open up the floor for questions. Is that all right for you?
yep, sure.
Okay, thank you. So the next person I would like to introduce to you is Madam Haja. All right, and Madam Haja's son also went through DSA. So without further ado, Madam Haja, over to you.
Okay, hi, good evening, parents. So what I will do is I will be sharing on my journey with my son for his application for DSA through sports. A quick Okay, sorry. So, I'll just share a bit about my family experience. I'm a mother of three, a 22-year-old, 17-year-old boy, as well as my youngest, who is a 16-year-old girl. So my kids have always shown an interest in sports. And I believe just like all you parents, we always try to support our children in their interests. Whether it's in academics as well as all other interests. So what we do is to always be there and allow them to experience different ways of exploring their interests. So today I'll be sharing Today I'll be sharing about my second son, Sabil. So Sabil was the one who applied to secondary school through this DSA. And basically Sabil is a boy who is very passionate about sports, especially football. So his life in Suchin, he has always he has joined the football club. In lower primary, he attended football enrichment. And then he was selected to join a football club outside, which was under Active SG, and he attended trainings on weekends. So our weekends were actually basically burnt sending him to football matches, standing at the sides, rallying him on throughout his days playing football. Then as he grows up, he was selected to join Junior Sports Academy. So this was actually a 2 years course, a sports module in primary 4 and primary 5, where he was given exposure to different sports. So he had the opportunity to try floorball, to try shooting, to try hockey, besides his football experience in school. And besides that, he also represented school in events like orienteering and bouldering. So, and on top of that, he was also the student counselor in school. And then in P5, he had the opportunity to join the LEADEX team, which went to Krabi, Thailand. So he was involved in many things in different areas, which actually allowed him to explore a lot of different opportunities in primary school. So then as he got to P5, we were thinking about DSA. Do we want to apply to a secondary school through the DSA route? So we were having conversations with Sabil, my husband and I, and then we were thinking, do we want to try DSA or do we just want to try through the normal route? Because Sabil is an average student. He is not very academically inclined, but he's just one of those average boys who love playing sports. So then when we talked to him, we felt that we wanted to choose a secondary school that is aligned to his interest and talent. And we want to find one that could support him in his academics as well as his area of strength. So that was why we said, okay, why not we try? And it was something that actually Sabil wanted. So we asked him, Sabil, do you want to go through DSA or do you just want to wait for your PSL results? And he was quite sure. He said, why not we try DSA? So I said, are you sure? He said, yes. I said, okay, fine. We will try through the DSA route. So when we got to P6, just now I shared with you all the different exposures that Sabil had when he was in primary school. So when we got to P6, then we were stuck at this area. So which one do we apply for? Because he was very involved in football. his CCA is football. He represented Suchin in football, but at the same time, he was also given leadership opportunities. He was in the student council. He was also in the LEADEX, which helped to develop his leadership skills. And he was very much involved in a lot of outdoor activities, rock climbing, orienteering. He represented the schools in competitions. So then we were talking about which area do we want to choose. So we can apply in two areas if we wanted to, but we had conversations with him again. So it was a lot of conversations that we actually sat with him to talk to him. Sabil, what is it that you really want? This is this is your choice, because while we could control his primary school choice, we felt that as he goes to secondary school, we wanted him to own the choice, the path that he's going to take for the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years. So at the point in time, we knew that he was very interested and very passionate about football, because he was the type of wake up, breathe, and live for football, that kind of boy. So when we talked to him, he was very adamant, and he said that, Ma, I want to try for football. And he was very, very sure about that. So that was when myself and my husband, we said that, okay, so we will just try for one talent area, which was football. So after he applied, this was what we did. We started to look around at the secondary schools which offered football DSA. So because we are staying in Jurong, the schools that we were actually looking at were the schools which is in the west area. So there were many other secondary schools offering football DSA, but we then focused down on three, because we told Sabil that location of the school is something which we got to consider. So we narrowed down our choices to three, which was actually Queensway, Commonwealth, and Jurongville at that point in time. And then after we have narrowed down on the different schools, we look at the different programs that the school has to offer, and then we look at which are the schools which will be suitable to support him, because different schools have different programs. Even though they are offering niche area in football, they have different kinds of exposure for the students. So we talk about this a lot with Sabil, and then we talk to him, getting him ready for interviews. Like duty just now, he didn't really prepare so much, because he was quite confident in speaking. I guess he knows what he wants to talk about. He has done it, so he will be very candid in sharing his experiences. But the things that he did was to train physically on his own, because we wouldn't know what kind of things the secondary school will expect. So for Sabil, he actually had 2 rounds of verbal interview. One was in front of the teacher, and then after that, they got the HOD involved in the second interview. And for the third round, he was actually asked to show his skills. So for the skills, we actually didn't know what the school wanted. So it was on the spot. They told him, okay, these are the different set of skills that we want to see you, and he has to perform on the spot. Yeah, so those were the things that on his own he prepared for. Means like just some kicking, no shooting, stopping of the ball. So how we as parents come to help, his elder brother will train with him during weekends, to try and see whether he can score the goal. And we are quite critical, we'll tell him, Sabil, you need to do this, you need to train in this area. Yeah, so these are ways in which we feel that we can show him support as he is preparing for the DSA. So he was finally selected. He was selected to Queensway Secondary, one of his school choice. So once he is in Queensway, these were some of the opportunities which were given to him. So even though he entered through DSA football, he's in the football team, he was also selected to attend leadership camps, which was the opportunity from Queensway Secondary. Then he was given the chance to collaborate with NUS as part of their leadership training, and he represented his school in the national games. With opportunities comes different challenges. So these were some of the challenges. The trainings were twice or thrice a week. It depends on whether they are preparing for national school games or it's just a normal training. But for football, trainings will always start after 3:30. But because he enters the route through DSA, so they expect him to help and get the things ready in the field before training actually starts. So from morning all the way until 1, he will have his classes, and then he will have a quick lunch, and then he will continue with additional classes after school. The additional classes will end at about 3:15. He will rush down to the field, prepare everything, and then training will end at 6:30, after which they are expected to help and keep all the equipment before he can actually leave. So by the time he ends everything, it will be a good 6:45, nearly to 7 kind of thing, and we will try to pick him up, because by then he is already very, very tired. And this happens twice or thrice a week. And on top of that, he has to manage his trainings, he has to manage his studies, because there are days when my husband cannot fetch him and he has to take the train home. By the time he comes home, he still has homework to do. So, and they are not like given leeway, or just because you have training, you don't need to complete your homework. So they are also expected to submit their homework at the same time as their peers. So this was something that Sabil had to manage, and it was not easy, because in primary school you have only four subjects, and in secondary school you have nine subjects, and each subjects comes with different expectations. So it was something that he had to cope, and something we as parents had to support at that point in time, because when he comes back, he gets very tired. We will try and sit with him and make sure, that at least when he's doing his homework, we are there to show him that, hey, you are not alone in this journey. Yeah, so it was something that he had to manage at that point in time. And there were also expectations from teachers and coaches. So being chosen to enter through the DSA route does not automatically guarantee you a spot in the school team. So he had to compete with others who were in the football CCA to get a spot to represent the school, because in secondary school they had players who were even better than him. So this was something that we had to speak with him about, and also remind him that it was a commitment that he chose at P6, and this was something that he had to honor all the way until the end of his Sec 4. So, despite everything, I think what I wanted to share is this DSA journey with Sabil was something that he wanted right from the start. It was a decision that he chose, which we had a lot of conversations with him about. He was very sure what he wanted. We supported him along the way as parents by trying to pick him up as much as we can, by standing at the side of the gates, the secondary school gates, to take a peek into his matches, and then have a talk with him, like how he had fared, because he felt very happy whenever we are there supporting him, whenever we can talk to him about his match. It provided him that kind of support. But I felt that this whole journey was an opportunity for him to grow, and he has learned a lot from the journey. Yeah. Okay, so that was our DSA journey. Thank you.
Parents, can you join me in thanking both Dwiti and Madam Haja for very enlightening sharing? Thank you so much. Okay. I think we have learned a lot. And actually, you can see, even though it's two very different areas, aesthetics and sports, it's not that different in terms of what your children can expect to experience should they go through DSA. So if you notice, there is a chat function that is on your taskbar. Should you have any questions, we are happy to address them for you. Okay, so you can type them and we'll try our best to answer your questions for you. Can you apply for 2 or more DSA areas in the same school? From what we understand, it's 2. I think you can't quite, I don't think you can apply for 3. Yeah. Okay, questions are coming in, so I'll try and address them as they come in. If the child was successful in more than one school applied through DSA, what is the timeline that we need to make the decision? The timeline will be made known to you, but you have to commit to. I think there is a possibility of ranking your choices. So let's say if I take the example that Madam Haja gave us just now, Commonwealth, Jurongville, and Queensway. So perhaps she puts that as 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then she submits. That is possible. Okay, we are 20 minutes late. We are doing. Would the slides and recording be shared at the website? I believe we will be doing that. Okay, so from there you can perhaps touch base with us if there are further questions that you would like to ask. I'm not sure whether I missed any questions before that. For academic related DSA, is the P5 SA2 result a very important reference for secondary school? All formal results are important, parents. All formal assessments and informal assessments are also important. Okay. For SOTA, do you need okay, Tweety for you.
You don't really need the certificates as long as you're interested and you have like
Are
the
you
raw
are you
talent.
unmuted, dear?
Yeah, I
I
am.
can't hear you.
Oh,
Okay. Try.
can you hear me now? Um, for SOTA, you don't really need the
Sorry, dear, we
certificate.
can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh, you can hear her. So sorry. Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. My apologies.
Oh, you don't need the certificates as long as you have the raw talent. It should be fine.
So but just curious, Tweety, did you do music or something like that?
Yeah, I did voice.
Okay. But they didn't ask to see your certs and anything of that sort, lah.
Uh, if you have it, they will, but then they don't really base it based on your certificates.
Because it's really about your ability to perform, right? Okay, thank you. If my child decides to apply for DSA leadership, will there be help from the teachers to help? We mentioned some dates where we will have special preparatory sessions. So do make sure that your child is present. We will do our best because leadership, in a way, frankly, we have given our student leaders a lot of opportunities. It's how they package it and present themselves. Yeah. But if your child would like a little bit more individual coaching, we are also open to that. May I know what the audition process for drums involves during DSA? Will applicants be required to perform specific pieces, sight read, rhythms, or undergo technical tests such as rudiments or improvisation? Dweety, can you help with this question?
Um, I'm not very sure about the drums, but I think you have to read rhythms and do sight reading. For improvisation, I'm pretty sure it's only for creating tracks. So if you're applying for creating track, you should um practice on your improv.
Okay. But I must put in this caveat. This is Dweety is speaking from her SOTA experience. SOTA is School of the Arts. So definitely in terms of the requirements, the expectations, it may not be the same as those in maybe the secondary schools. Okay. So what is really very important is that when you do start shortlisting the schools that you're interested in, do look at what they might be requiring from you, or maybe even give the school a call to see whether they're willing to entertain a question like this so that you can better prepare your child. Okay. Uh, for leadership DSA, does a student need to be in counselor exco? No. We have different leaders. For example, we have our UG, our uniform groups. Many of them are leaders. We have our CCA leaders. So really, it is not about exco alone. It is about the fact that you have had the opportunity to be a leader, which is something that in our school we strive to provide every child with. Is band under uniform group domain of performing arts? It is performing arts. Okay. Uh, any more questions? Can I scroll down further? Is that it? Okay. I think I've answered all the questions so far. Are there any other questions? Another one. For sports-related DSAs, will representing school competition be sufficient? That means you have taken part in school competitions, is it? Maybe this one, I leave it to Miss Chen to share a little bit. She is
Hello, mic test. Okay, for sports DSA, having the opportunity to represent school is good. However, if the school requires you to demonstrate certain skills, you will still need to be able to perform the skills required, be it basketball dribbling, shooting, or even the football skills. It depends on the secondary school's requirement for the DSA interview.
Any further questions? We stand between you and your May Day break. But we are happy to answer as many of your questions as possible. And we are actually very proud that Dwiti, our alumnus, came back to share. She even came back on Saturday during our carnival to perform, and she was wonderful. I only caught a bit, unfortunately, but you know, her voice has improved by leaps and bounds. I think that is something that when you commit to honing your skills, the secondary schools do have the expertise to further develop them. Yeah. So Dwiti, I'm really proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for acknowledging our efforts here. Really appreciate it. Q&A, there's a question, is it? Okay, let me check the Q&A now. So school will provide support in terms of interviews. We will do interview prep for them, mentioned already, on the 3rd and 4th of June. This is after their lessons from 12:30 to 1:30. It's actually the slides, which we will also post on our website so that you can look at them at your leisure.
Okay, maybe I answer. There's a question on sports about the resume. I think when you're applying to DSA, they will ask about your involvements, but that will not be the main thing. So in the website, when you're applying, you will have to fill in all this. But after that, during the interview, they will also ask you other questions besides that. So that is not the main criteria there. Yeah.
Okay, what does aptitude test normally consist of? It can be anything depending. An aptitude test could be an actual paper, a math paper, a science paper, but of course pitched at primary school level. It could be maybe composition writing, so forth. We are not fully in the know of what is involved because secondary schools do not share. We actually depend on our children to come back and share with us. And what a secondary school does this year may change the next year, right? So it really may be very different from year to year, okay? Regarding the sports domain, if the applicant did not win any competitions but represented, can they still apply under sports domain? Ms. Chen, over to you.
Regarding sports DSA, if you don't win anything but you have represented the school, you can still apply for the DSA for the sports that you are interested in. Likewise, if they require you to show certain skills like in running, they will ask you about your timing. Then you will have to be able to state and share with them. Then there's a question regarding increasing chances of being shortlisted. Actually, it depends very much on what you tell them during your interview and also your performance during the trial if the school has the trial. Yeah, you could win medals. You can be participating in a lot of competition in primary school, but ultimately the school will want to see you performing the skills that you have during the interview. So you have to be, practicing, be holistic. You can share with them your achievement, but you must still demonstrate your skills to them at the end of the day. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. DSA through debate and public speaking, how will the school help prepare? Basically, the portfolio may not be that relevant here by way of artifacts. It may be more in terms of competitions that they took part in and also demonstration of skills possibly. Okay. It is the fact that you have taken part in public speaking, you feel that that is your area of interest and special and talent, and you give it a try. Okay. What's the success rate? I would love to tell you the actual success rate, but we also have a lot of Shoochanites who do not share that they've gone for DSA. So, but we know that generally we have, I would say about 60%. Really? Would you say that? About 60%? About 60%, okay? Because we also have some children that will reject the offer. Why? Maybe they felt very good after they took the PSLE. I think I aced it. I don't need the DSA. So the truth of the matter is the numbers are not necessarily the most accurate because there can be a variety of reasons why they are not 100%, let's say. Okay, but we are committed as a school to do this for your children. Something that we really dedicate time and energy. My team here works on this every year, and it's something that we're very proud to do for your children because we believe they are stars. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I think there's a Ms. Chen, did you answer this one? For sports related DSA, how can we increase the chances of being shortlisted? You have already, yeah? Thank you. Okay, I think at the Q&A side I've answered already. At the chat side, I think I've also answered. Are there any others? Answer already. Answer already. Okay, I'll wait another 2 minutes, by which time it will be 8 p.m. Should there not be any more questions, then we will call this sharing session to a close. And again, really want to thank Dwiti and Madam Haja for making time. Thank you so much for your affirmation. Hope this has been a good session for you, short and sweet. But parents, I do need to alert you. One of the first questions we ask the children when they come for the interview prep during the June holidays is whether they have actually applied for DSA. Should they tell us that they haven't, then you must understand if we say, then please go home. Okay, because we do not want to waste their time. So that's why we do this session around this time every year, so that you all have ample time to look at all the resources, to have a very good conversation, and only after you have applied for DSA should your child come for our interview prep. Okay, because if they're not going for interview, why are they coming for the preparation? It's not that meaningful session for them. So I believe you're truly interested to do this for your children. So just go into the website, look through, have a good discussion, be aware of the commitment levels, the expectations. If you think this is what you would do, would be good for your children, then go for it. Yeah. Okay, it's 8 p.m. Last call. Okay, if not, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful May Day holiday. Shoochanites come back to school on Friday, okay? Thank you. Good night. Preeti, thank you. If you want to leave.
Thank you, Leti.
Yeah. I wish I could hear the whole song you sang that day, but I couldn't. I had to keep my guest of honor company, but I was like, what is that beautiful voice I'm hearing? So you've actually grown in your ability, your talents and your range or how has your voice matured actually?
I've my voice is a little less airy than it was and I can reach lower than I used to and higher than I used to as well.
Okay. Arranges and improve that. Okay, wonderful. Okay. So the Sota Mount musicals and so forth, you think?
Sorry?
The Sota Mount musicals.
Not really, but we have these things called lunchtime concerts. So you can like group together with various music students, and then you can like perform like some song from
So
the
it's,
musical.
so it's like busking in a way. Lah.
Yeah,
Hmm. So let us know, okay, if you're going to perform. And if we can, we will go and support you. Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. I think we won't keep you. You also should enjoy your May Day holiday. Okay. So
Okay.
we'll catch up with you another time. Yeah. Thank you so much, dear.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Okay.
you.